Hi, I'm Mrs. A, and welcome to the Straight A Nation Book Club. Before I introduce the book of the month to you, I'd like to talk a little bit about the benefits of reading out loud with your kids. Mr. A and I have 5 kids, as you may or may not know, and we homeschooled them for many years. And some of our best memories we ever made were just choosing a great book, learning a little bit about its author, and then sitting around and taking turns reading chapters to each other at night. To this day, believe it or not, even though my kids are college age and beyond, they still will choose a good book and read out loud to each other during summer vacations and winter vacations. And there's just something kind of magical that happens when you grab a book and read it out loud together. Back before radio and TV were invented, that's what people did for entertainment, believe it or not, at night. They would sit, pick a good book, and they would read out loud to each other. So whether your kids are 7 or 17, it doesn't matter. I highly recommend that you adopt this tradition in your family. So the book we chose to highlight this first month ever is called The Ultimate Gift. Its author, Jim Stovall, lost his sight when he was in his early 20s. He was an incredible athlete, but he had to give up his aspirations of being a professional football player. And instead of going into a depression, he ended up becoming a national champion Olympic weightlifter. Learning about his life alone could really benefit your children. But he was also a born entrepreneur, and he ended up founding and becoming the president of the Narrative Television Network, which makes TV and movies accessible to 13 million blind and visually impaired Americans. Jim was inspired to write The Ultimate Gift when an employee of his, a single mother, was diagnosed with terminal cancer. As she was dying, she realized there were many life lessons that she would have wanted to impart to her daughter later on. So she made Jim Stovall the guardian of her preteen daughter and told him all the messages that she wanted him to give her daughter as she grew up. This concept of passing along life lessons became the framework of this very book. The front of the book reads, "What would you be willing to do in order to inherit $1 billion? Jason Stevens is about to find out in The Ultimate Gift." The plot of The Ultimate Gift revolves around Jason Stevens, a very interesting character who's very entitled and slothful young man who stands to inherit a large fortune from his deceased uncle, Red Stevens. The receipt of his inheritance depends entirely on Jason's willingness to learn 14 lessons, or receive 14 gifts as his uncle calls them, which force him way out of his comfort zone and really challenge his character. Parents and students will enjoy watching the transformation Jason makes as he learns about gratitude, work ethic, helping others, and the importance of family, and so much more. Public schools across the country have used The Ultimate Gift as a classroom tool to help impart character to students. Jim Stovall receives hundreds of letters each year from parents, teachers, and students who have been deeply touched by this book. When you finish reading this amazing story, you can also watch the movie, which came out in 2006, which does an incredible job of capturing the heart and soul of this book. So turn off that TV and take in the richness of The Ultimate Gift as a family. I promise you'll never be the same. And please, when you're finished reading, share your thoughts on our website's Book of the Month page at straightanation.org.